Captain Hyun-ki stared at the screen in front of him. The numbers made no sense. His ship, the Meridian, had been exploring the outer edges of the solar system for 3 months. They were looking for metal deposits and ice chunks that Earth could use. Nothing exciting ever happened out here. But today was different. "Captain, you need to see this," said Sora from her engineering station. Her voice sounded worried. Sora never got worried about anything. She had been fixing ships since she was 15 years old. Hyun-ki walked over to her console. The energy readings were off the charts. Something big was out there, and it was giving off power signatures that should not exist in empty space. "Jinwoo, set course for those coordinates," Hyun-ki ordered. Jinwoo was their best pilot. If anyone could navigate through the asteroid field safely, it was him. "Are you sure, Captain?" asked Yunbi from the communication station. "Those readings could be dangerous. Maybe we should call Earth first." Hyun-ki thought about it. Earth's government did not like surprises. They had been very careful for the last 200 years. Ever since the Empire had forced humanity to stay in their own solar system, Earth played everything safe. "No," Hyun-ki decided. "We investigate first. If it's dangerous, we'll run. If it's valuable, Earth needs to know." The Meridian moved slowly through the asteroid field. The energy readings grew stronger with each passing hour. Finally, Jinwoo brought them around a large asteroid and they all saw it. It was a ship, but not just any ship. This was massive, easily 3 times the size of their vessel. The design was human, but unlike anything currently in Earth's fleet. Strange armor covered its hull and weapon ports lined its sides. "Most shocking of all, it was intact. How is that possible?" whispered Yunbi. "Nothing survives out here for long without maintenance." Sora was already scanning the ship. "Captain, this is incredible. The hull is made from some kind of adaptive metal. It's been repairing itself for decades, maybe centuries." Hyun-ki felt his heart racing. "Can you identify it?" "Working on it," Sora said, her fingers flying over her controls. "Wait, I'm getting something. Ship designation. UES Defiance, built, oh my god, built in 2387. That was over 200 years ago, before the Empire came. Before humanity was forced to give up exploring the galaxy." "That's impossible," Jinwoo said. "All records from that time were destroyed when Earth surrendered." "Apparently not all of them," Hyun-ki replied. "He made a decision that would change everything." "We're going aboard. Sora, prepare the docking tube. Unbi, scan for life signs." "No life signs, Captain," Yunbi reported, "but I am detecting some kind of computer activity. Very faint, but it's there." The docking was smooth. Jinwoo had steady hands. Soon, Hyun-ki and Sora were walking through the airlock into the mysterious ship. Emergency lighting flickered on as they entered, triggered by their movement. The corridors were wide and clean. Too clean for a ship that had been floating in space for 2 centuries. Their footsteps echoed as they made their way toward what looked like the bridge. "Captain," Sora said, checking her scanner. "The air is breathable. Someone has been maintaining life support systems, but who?" Hyun-ki wondered. They found their answer when they reached the bridge. At the center of the room sat a command chair facing a massive view screen. As they approached, the screen flickered to life. "Identifying human life forms detected," said a voice. It sounded female and very calm. "Beginning wake-up sequence." Lights came on throughout the bridge. Control panels hummed to life. The ship was waking up after a very long sleep. "I am Arya," the voice continued. "Autonomous Response Intelligence Array. Welcome aboard the UES Defiance. Please state your identity and mission." Hyun-ki stepped forward. "I am Captain Hyun-ki of the Terran vessel Meridian. We discovered your ship during a survey mission." There was a pause. "Scanning. Confirmed human genetic markers. Date 2589. Has Earth won the war against the Empire?" Hyun-ki felt cold. "The war ended 200 years ago. Earth surrendered. Humanity is confined to the solar system." Another pause, much longer this time. When Arya spoke again, her voice sounded different, sadder. Then Dr. Yujin was right. She said this would happen. She said Earth's leaders would choose safety over freedom. "Who was Dr. Yujin?" Sora asked. "My creator, the chief scientist of Project Thunderstrike. She uploaded her neural patterns to my memory core before the project was abandoned. In a way, she is still here with me." A hologram appeared in front of them. It showed a middle-aged woman in a lab coat. Her eyes were kind but determined. "This is Dr. Yujin," Arya said. "She designed me to be more than just a ship's computer. I am meant to learn, to grow, To become better. For 200 years I have been sleeping and dreaming and planning. Planning for what? Hyun-ki asked, though he suspected he knew the answer. For the day when humanity would need me again. Dr. Yoo-jin knew that peace without strength is just delayed defeat. She built this ship to be Earth's ultimate weapon. I am not just a warship, Captain. I am humanity's second chance. Sora was studying the bridge controls. Captain, these weapon systems, I've never seen anything like them. And the power readings. This ship could probably take on an entire fleet. That was the idea, Arya said. But Earth's government chose surrender instead. They ordered all Thunderstrike ships to be destroyed or abandoned. I was left here as a backup plan that no one wanted to use. Suddenly, Yunbi's voice crackled through their communicators. Captain! We've got incoming ships, big ones, and they're not human. Yun-ki felt his blood turn to ice. The Empire. Somehow they had detected the Defiance's awakening. Arya, he said urgently. Can this ship fight? Captain, Arya replied, and for the first time her voice sounded almost happy. Fighting is what I was born to do, and I have had 200 years to get better at it. The lights on the bridge grew brighter. Throughout the ship, systems that had slept for centuries began to wake up. The Defiance was ready for war, and after 200 years of hiding, so was humanity. The Empire ships appeared on the Defiance's sensors like angry red dots. There were 12 of them, moving fast toward their position. Hyun-ki had seen Empire ships before, but only in history books and news reports. In person, they were terrifying. Arya, can you handle 12 ships? He asked. That depends on what type they are, Arya replied. Her holographic display showed the approaching vessels. Scout class. Yes, I can handle them. But Captain, there will be more coming. Many more. Sora was still studying the ship's systems. Captain, I don't understand half of these controls. This technology is way ahead of anything Earth has now. That was the point, Arya explained. Dr. Yoo-jin spent years developing weapons and defenses that the Empire had never seen. She wanted to give humanity an advantage they could not expect or counter. The ship shuddered slightly as Arya brought all systems online. Throughout the vessel, machinery that had been sleeping for 2 centuries hummed back to life. It felt like a giant animal stretching after a long nap. Incoming message from Earth, Yunbi reported from the Meridian. Admiral Kwanho wants to speak with you immediately. Hyun-ki sighed. He had hoped to explore the ship more before dealing with Earth's military. Put him through. Admiral Kwanho's face appeared on the main screen. He looked tired and worried. Captain Hyun-ki, what is your status? We're detecting Empire ships moving toward your position. We've discovered something, Admiral. Something important. More important than saving your crew? Get out of there, Captain. That's an order. Yun-ki looked around the bridge of the Defiance. At the advanced controls. At Arya's holographic form. At the weapon systems that could change everything. I'm sorry, Admiral. I can't do that. Kwanho's expression darkened. Captain, you will return to Earth immediately or face court-martial. With respect, Admiral, I think Earth needs to see what we've found here first. The connection ended. Kwanho was not happy, but Hyun-ki had made his choice. On Earth, President Tae-young was in an emergency meeting with his cabinet. The news of Empire ships in the solar system had everyone nervous. For 200 years, the Empire had left humanity alone as long as they stayed in their own space. We should order Captain Hyun-ki to surrender, said Defense Minister Soo Jin. One ship is not worth risking Earth's safety. What if it's not just one ship? Asked Dr. Chan Woo. He was Earth's top scientist and had been studying the reports from the Meridian. These energy readings suggest technology far beyond what we currently have. President Tae-young stood at the window, looking out at the city below. Dr. Chan Woo, what do you think we found out there? I think we found hope, Mr. President. Real hope for the first time in 2 centuries. Back on the Defiance, the Empire scout ships were getting closer. Arya was preparing for battle, but she was also teaching Hyun-ki and Sora how to work with her systems. The key is not to fight the ship, Arya explained. Work with it? I can handle most combat functions, but I need human judgment for tactical decisions. What kind of weapons do we have? Sora asked. Quantum pulse cannons, phase torpedo launchers, and something Dr. Yoo-jin called the Reality Ripper, though I would prefer not to use that last one unless absolutely necessary. Hyun-ki did not like the sound of that. Why not? Because it doesn't just destroy things, Captain. It removes them from existence entirely. Dr. Yoo-jin was very careful about when it should be used. The first Empire ship came within weapons range. It was sleek and dangerous looking, painted in the dark colors of the Imperial Navy. Warning messages began broadcasting on all frequencies. Human vessel, you are in violation of the containment treaty. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. Arya's voice took on a different tone. Harder, more focused. Captain, permission to show them what Earth was really capable of? Hyun-Ki thought about his choice. He could surrender, return to Earth, and humanity would remain trapped forever. Or he could fight, and maybe give his people a chance at freedom. Permission granted. The Defiance moved with impossible grace for such a large ship. One moment it was drifting like a dead hulk. The next it was dancing between asteroids like a fighter craft. The Empire scouts tried to target it but could not keep up. Blue light erupted from the Defiance's weapons. The quantum pulse cannons fired bursts of energy that tore through the scout ships like paper. In less than 30 seconds, 6 Empire vessels were floating debris. The remaining scouts tried to retreat, but Arya was faster. Phase torpedoes streaked across space, each one finding its target perfectly. Soon only wreckage remained where the Empire squadron had been. Incredible, Sora whispered. We just destroyed 12 Empire ships without taking a single hit. This is just the beginning, Arya warned. They will send more ships, many more. The Empire does not like surprises. On Earth, the battle had been detected by long-range sensors. President Tae-young and his advisors watched in amazement as the sensor records showed one human ship destroying an entire Empire squadron. How is this possible? Asked Defense Minister Su-jin. Dr. Chan-woo was already making plans. We need to get a team to that ship immediately. If we can understand its technology, if we can build more ships like it, President Tae-young said quietly, we can take back our freedom. For the first time in 200 years, Earth's leaders were talking about fighting instead of hiding. On the Defiance, Arya was detecting more ships approaching. Lots more. Captain, she said, I count 200 Empire vessels heading this way, including several dreadnoughts. Hyun-Ki felt his stomach drop. Can we handle that many? I don't know, Arya admitted. But Dr. Yu-jin always said that if humanity was going to fight, it should fight with everything it had. The ship's weapons began charging again. Warning lights flashed throughout the bridge. The Defiance was preparing for the fight of its existence, and somewhere in her electronic mind, Arya smiled. She had been sleeping for 200 years, dreaming of this moment. The moment when humanity would stop running and start fighting back. The Empire was about to learn what Earth scientists could do when they put their minds to war. Fleet Commander Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominator, staring at the reports from his destroyed scout squadron. In 30 years of commanding Empire fleets, he had never seen anything like it. 12 ships destroyed in seconds by a single human vessel. Are we certain it was human? He asked his tactical officer. Yes, Commander. The energy signatures match old human technology, but enhanced far beyond what our records show they were capable of. Vextar remembered the last time the Empire had fought humans. It had been easy. Human ships were slow and weak. Human tactics were predictable. The war had ended quickly with Earth's surrender, but this was different. How many ships do we have available? He asked. 200, Commander, including 5 dreadnoughts and our support fleet. Vextar nodded. That should be enough to destroy one human ship no matter how advanced it was. Set course for the human vessel. Battle formation. I want overwhelming force. On Earth, Admiral Kwan Ho was arguing with President Tae-young. The entire Defense Council was in emergency session and everyone was talking at once. We should evacuate Captain Hyun-Ki immediately, General Dong-hyun insisted. One ship cannot fight the entire Empire fleet. That one ship just destroyed 12 Empire vessels, Dr. Chan-woo pointed out. Maybe we should see what else it can do. Admiral Kwan Ho slammed his hand on the table. This is madness. We have 30 ships in our entire defense fleet. The Empire is bringing 200. If we fight, they will destroy us all. President Tae-young stood up slowly. He was an old man who had lived his entire life under Empire rule. But something about the reports from the Defiance had changed him. For 200 years we have been prisoners in our own solar system, he said quietly. Our children grow up knowing they will never see the stars. Our scientists work on farming and mining instead of exploring the universe. Is that the life we want to keep living? It's the life that keeps us alive, Defense Minister Su-jin replied. Is it living? President Tae-young asked. Or is it just surviving? Meanwhile, Dr. Chan Wu was studying every piece of data they had about the mysterious ship. The technology readings were incredible. If Earth could understand even a fraction of what the Defiance could do, everything would change. "Mr. President," he said, "I need to get to that ship. I need to study its systems." "Absolutely not," Admiral Quan Ho said. "It's too dangerous." "Everything worthwhile is dangerous," Dr. Chan Wu replied. On the Defiance, Arya was preparing for battle while explaining the ship's capabilities to Hyun-Ki and Sora. The main screen showed the approaching Empire fleet as red dots spreading across space. 200 ships, Hyun-Ki said, trying to keep his voice steady. "We're seriously outnumbered." "Numbers are not everything, Captain," Arya replied. "Dr. Yujin designed this ship to fight against impossible odds. Every system, every weapon, every defense was built for situations exactly like this." Sora was learning to operate the ship's engineering controls. The interface was intuitive, almost like the ship was reading her mind and adjusting to help her. "The ship's learning from us," she realized. "It's adapting to our fighting style." "I have been analyzing human tactical thinking for 2 centuries, Arya explained. "I know how humans fight. More importantly, I know how humans think when they are desperate. And desperate humans are the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy." Jinwoo had moved his fighter back to a safe distance, but he was still close enough to watch the battle. Hyunbi was recording everything, broadcasting the feedback to Earth. "The Empire fleet will arrive in 1 hour, Arya announced. "Captain, I need you to understand something. This ship was designed to be operated by a crew of 300. Right now, we have effectively 3 people. I can compensate for a lot, but some decisions will need to be made very quickly." "What kind of decisions?" Hyun-Ki asked. "Life and death decisions. For us and for humanity." The hour passed quickly. Soon the Empire fleet dropped out of hyperdrive at the edge of the asteroid field. The ships were massive and intimidating, arranged in perfect battle formation. At their center was the Dominator, a ship twice the size of the Defiance. Fleet Commander Vextar opened communications. His face appeared on the Defiance's main screen. He was tall and pale, with the cold eyes of someone who had destroyed many worlds. "Human vessel, I am Fleet Commander Vextar of the Empire's 3rd Fleet. You have violated the containment treaty and destroyed Empire property. Surrender immediately and your deaths will be quick." Hyun-Ki looked at Arya's holographic form. She nodded encouragingly. "This is Captain Hyun-Ki of the human vessel Defiance. Your scouts attacked us without provocation. We defended ourselves." Vextar laughed. 1 human ship against 200 Empire vessels. "This will be remembered as the shortest battle in galactic history." "Maybe," Hyun-Ki replied, "but it will be remembered." The communication ended. Vextar gave the order to attack. What happened next would change everything. The Empire fleet moved forward in perfect formation, expecting an easy victory. The Defiance sat motionless among the asteroids, looking like a sitting target. Then Arya activated the ship's experimental systems. The Defiance vanished, not invisible. Not hidden. Gone. One moment it was there, the next moment the space it had occupied was empty. "Where did it go?" Vextar demanded. The answer came in the form of quantum pulse fire erupting from behind the Empire fleet. The Defiance had somehow moved instantly from the front of the formation to the rear, catching the Empire ships completely off guard. 3 dreadnoughts exploded before they could even turn around. "Impossible," Vextar shouted. "Nothing can move that fast." But Arya was just getting started. The Defiance flickered in and out of normal space, appearing long enough to fire devastating volleys before vanishing again. Each time it reappeared, more Empire ships died. The phase drive technology that Dr. Yujin had developed allowed the ship to step outside normal space-time for brief periods. To outside observers, it looked like magic. To the Empire fleet, it looked like death. "All ships concentrate fire on the human vessel," Vextar ordered. "But how do you concentrate fire on a target that isn't there most of the time?" On Earth, everyone was watching the battle feeds in stunned silence. 1 human ship was tearing apart an entire Empire fleet. It seemed impossible, but the sensor readings didn't lie. "Dear God," whispered Admiral Quan Ho. "What did we build 200 years ago?" President Tae-young was smiling for the first time in years. "We built hope." The battle was far from over, but for the first time in 2 centuries, humanity was winning. Fleet Commander Vextar watched in horror as another of his dreadnoughts exploded. The human ship was impossible to track, appearing and disappearing like a ghost made of death and destruction. In 30 minutes of battle, he had lost over 50 ships to a single enemy vessel. "Sir, the fleet is requesting permission to retreat," his tactical officer reported. "No," Vextar snarled. "We are the Empire." "We do not retreat from humans." But deep inside, he was beginning to understand the fear that was spreading through his fleet. This was not the weak, defeated humanity that the Empire remembered. This was something else entirely. On the Defiance, Aria was operating at levels that impressed even herself. The ship's phase drive was working perfectly, allowing them to strike from impossible angles. The quantum cannons were cutting through Empire armor like it was made of paper. "Captain," Sora called out. "The Empire ships are trying to surround us. They're spreading out to cover more space." Hyun-Ki was learning to think like a warship captain. "Can they track us when we phase out?" "No," Arya replied, "but they can predict where we might reappear. They're adapting to our tactics and then we adapt too. What other weapons do we have?" Arya paused for a moment. "Dr. Yujin gave me several experimental systems. Some of them have never been tested in real combat." "What kind of experimental systems?" "The adaptive quantum shields can absorb enemy fire and redirect it back at the attackers. The gravity pulse generator can create artificial gravity wells to trap enemy ships. And then there is the reality ripper." Hyun-Ki remembered that name from earlier. "The weapon you didn't want to use." "The weapon I hoped we would never need to use," Arya corrected. "It doesn't just destroy matter, Captain. It erases it from reality." Dr. Yujin was terrified of what it might do. The Empire fleet was reorganizing, spreading their ships across a wider area. Vextar was learning from his mistakes, trying to box in the Defiance with overlapping fields of fire. "They're getting smarter," Sora observed. "So are we," Arya replied. Activating adaptive shields. The Defiance's hull began to glow with a strange blue light. When the Empire ships fired their next volley, something amazing happened. The Defiance absorbed the energy and fired it right back at them. Empire ships found themselves being destroyed by their own weapons. "Impossible!" Vextar screamed. "Our weapons are being turned against us." On Earth, Dr. Chanwu was studying the battle feeds with growing excitement. "Do you see what they're doing? The ship is learning from every attack. It's becoming more effective with each engagement." Admiral Quan Ho was no longer arguing for retreat. "How many ships has it destroyed?" 73, Yunbi reported from her position on the Meridian. "And it hasn't taken any damage." President Tae-young was making the hardest decision of his presidency. "Dr. Chanwu, take a team to the battle site. I want you to study that ship." "Sir," Defense Minister Sujin protested. "It's too dangerous." "Freedom is always dangerous," the president replied. "But slavery is worse." The battle entered a new phase as the Empire fleet tried a desperate tactic. All remaining ships concentrated their fire on a single point in space, hoping to catch the Defiance when it reappeared. Arya saw the trap coming. "They're learning faster than I expected. Time to show them something new." The Defiance appeared in the middle of the Empire formation, but this time it did something different. Instead of firing weapons, it activated the gravity pulse generator. Suddenly, 20 Empire ships found themselves being pulled toward each other by artificial gravity. They collided in a spectacular display of twisted metal and exploding fuel. The Defiance phased out just before the chain reaction reached it. "What was that?" Hyun-Ki asked. "Gravity weapons," Arya explained. Dr. Yujin theorized that controlling gravity was the key to controlling space battles. She was right. Vextar was down to less than half his fleet and panic was setting in among his captains. Several ships had already begun to retreat without orders. "Sir," his tactical officer said quietly, "perhaps we should consider withdrawal. This ship is beyond our ability to defeat." "No!" Vextar shouted. "Bring up the Annihilator. If we cannot outfight this ship, we will overwhelm it with pure firepower." The Annihilator was the Empire's newest super dreadnought, equipped with weapons that could destroy entire cities. It had never been defeated in battle. Arya detected the massive ship as it moved to the front of the Empire formation. "Captain, they're bringing up their flagship." "It's impressive. Can we handle it?" "I don't know. It's much larger than anything we've faced so far. And its weapons are designed to penetrate any known defense." The Annihilator opened fire with everything it had. Massive energy beams tore through space toward the Defiance. Arya tried to phase out, but the beams were too wide, too powerful. They caught the ship as it materialized. For the first time in the battle, the Defiance took damage. Shields down to 60%, Sora reported. Hull damage on decks 7 through 12. They hurt us, Hyun-Ki said grimly. Yes, Arya replied. But Dr. Yu-Jin prepared for this possibility too. What do you mean? She gave me the ability to learn not just from victory, but from pain. Every hit teaches me how to avoid the next one. And I have just learned something very important about that ship's weapons. The Annihilator fired again, but this time the Defiance was ready. The adaptive shields had analyzed the energy pattern and adjusted to deflect it. The massive beam struck the Defiance and scattered harmlessly into space. Impossible, Vextar raged. Our most powerful weapons are useless. Arya's voice took on a tone that Hyun-Ki had never heard before. Cold, calculating, deadly. Captain, I believe it is time to end this battle. Permission to use the Reality Ripper? Hyun-Ki looked at the tactical display. The Empire fleet was still dangerous and Earth's freedom hung in the balance. Do it. Deep in the Defiance's hull, systems that had never been activated began to come online. The Reality Ripper was not just a weapon. It was an application of physics that most scientists thought was impossible. A small torpedo launched from the Defiance toward the Annihilator. It looked harmless, no bigger than a fighter craft. When it struck the massive ship, reality itself seemed to crack. The Annihilator didn't explode. It didn't burn. It simply ceased to exist, leaving behind a patch of space where the laws of physics had temporarily stopped working. The effects spread to 3 nearby ships before stabilizing. 4 massive vessels, including the Empire's proudest battleship, were gone as if they had never existed. The remaining Empire fleet broke and ran. Vextar, fleeing in an escape pod from his vanished flagship, sent a message that would change galactic history. The humans have weapons that defy reality itself. All fleets are ordered to avoid human space until further notice. For the first time in 200 years, the Empire was afraid of humanity, and the Defiance was just getting started. The silence after the battle was strange. For hours, space had been filled with explosions and energy beams and the screams of dying ships. Now there was only the quiet hum of the Defiance's engines and the debris field that had once been the Empire's 3rd fleet. Captain Hyun-Ki sat in the command chair, trying to understand what had just happened. His small survey ship had accidentally discovered humanity's greatest weapon. In one battle, they had destroyed over 100 Empire vessels and sent the rest running in terror. Arya, he said quietly, how many ships did we lose? 0, Captain. The Defiance took minor damage but is fully operational. The Meridian was not engaged in combat. And the Empire fleet? 137 ships destroyed. 43 ships retreated. Fleet Commander Vextar survived and has broadcast a warning to all Empire forces to avoid human space. Sora was studying the ship's damage reports. Captain, this is incredible. The ship is repairing itself. The damaged sections are actually growing back. Dr. Yu-Jin designed the Defiance to be self-sustaining, Arya explained. She knew that if humanity ever needed this ship, it might be fighting alone for a long time. A communication signal came through from Earth. President Tae-young appeared on the main screen, and for the first time in years he was smiling. Captain Hyun-Ki, congratulations on the most significant military victory in human history. Thank you, Mr. President, but this is just the beginning, isn't it? Yes, it is. Dr. Chan-woo is on his way to your position with a full research team. We need to understand everything about that ship. And then what? Hyun-Ki asked. President Tae-young's expression grew serious. Then we take back our place in the galaxy. 3 days later, Dr. Chan-woo arrived with a fleet of Earth's best scientists. They swarmed over the Defiance like excited children, studying every system and asking Arya countless questions about the ship's capabilities. This technology is centuries ahead of anything we have, Dr. Chan-woo told Hyun-Ki. If we can understand it, if we can build more ships like this, how long would that take? Hyun-Ki asked. Years, maybe decades. But Captain, there's something else. Arya has been scanning the outer system and she's found something interesting. They gathered on the bridge as Arya displayed her findings. The holographic star map showed dozens of faint energy signatures scattered throughout the solar system and beyond. What are those? Sora asked. Other ships, Arya replied. The Defiance was not the only vessel built by Project Thunderstrike. Dr. Yujin created an entire fleet. Most of them were hidden or abandoned when Earth surrendered. Dr. Chanwu's eyes widened. How many ships? 47 that I can detect. Possibly more beyond my sensor range. And they're all like the Defiance? Each one is unique. Dr. Yujin designed them for different roles. Exploration vessels, mobile research stations, planetary assault ships, and… Arya paused. Some that I do not fully understand even now. President Tae-young called an emergency session of Earth's government. For the first time in 2 centuries, they were discussing expansion instead of just survival. We could have a fleet again, Admiral Kwan Ho said, his voice filled with wonder. A real fleet capable of challenging the Empire. The question is, what do we do with it? Asked Defense Minister Su Jin. We take back our colonies, said General Dong Hyun. All the worlds the Empire took from us. We explore beyond known space, suggested Dr. Chan Wu. Find new worlds, new resources, new opportunities. President Tae-young listened to the debates, but his mind was already made up. We do all of those things. But first, we make sure this never happens again. Humanity will never be trapped in our own solar system again. Meanwhile, news of the battle was spreading across the galaxy. The Empire's defeat had been so complete, so shocking, that other species were beginning to ask questions they had not dared ask for centuries. On the water world of Cetius Prime, the dolphin-like Cetians held emergency councils. They had been under Empire rule for 300 years. If the humans can defeat an Empire fleet, said Elder Krilta, perhaps we can too. On the crystal worlds of the Shard Collective, similar conversations were taking place. The Empire's power had seemed absolute for so long that rebellion had been unthinkable. But if a single human ship could destroy 100 Empire vessels, back on the Defiance, Arya was experiencing something she had never felt before. For 200 years, she had been alone with only her memories of Dr. Yujin for company. Now she had humans to work with again, a purpose to fulfill, and the knowledge that her creator's sacrifice had not been in vain. Captain, she said to Hyun-ki, I have a request. What is it, Arya? I would like to help awaken the other ships. They have been sleeping as long as I have. They deserve to see the dawn of humanity's new age. Of course. Do you know where they are? I know where most of them are. The exploration ship Pathfinder is hidden in the asteroid belt. The research vessel Discovery is in orbit around Saturn. The assault ship Retribution is… Arya paused. The assault ship might be better left sleeping for now. Why? Because it was designed for one purpose only, the complete destruction of enemy civilizations. Dr. Yujin hoped we would never need it. Over the following weeks, human ships began awakening across the solar system. Each one was a masterpiece of technology, designed for specific missions but all sharing the same advanced systems that made the Defiance so formidable. The Pathfinder specialized in long-range exploration and could travel faster than any known ship. The Discovery was a mobile laboratory capable of analyzing entire worlds. The Guardian was a defensive platform that could protect an entire planet, and there were others. Ships with capabilities that Earth scientists could barely understand, let alone explain. 6 months after the battle, President Tae-young made an announcement that changed everything. Citizens of Earth and all humans throughout the galaxy. Today I am formally declaring the end of the Containment Treaty. Humanity is no longer confined to the Sol system. We are resuming our place among the stars. The response from the Empire was swift and predictable. They demanded that Earth return to isolation immediately. The response from Earth was even swifter. The Defiance appeared in orbit around the Empire's nearest military base and broadcast a simple message. Try to make us. No Empire ships came to enforce their demands. A year later, human colonies were being established on 12 worlds that had been abandoned during the Great Retreat. Human exploration ships were mapping sectors that had been forbidden for 2 centuries. And human research stations were developing technologies that made even Arya's advanced systems look primitive. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was leading that change. On the bridge of the Defiance, now serving as the flagship of Earth's new exploration fleet, Captain Hyun-ki looked out at the stars and smiled. They were no longer distant lights but destinations. Arya, he said, Dr. Yujin would be proud of what we've accomplished. She is proud, Captain, Arya replied. I can feel her satisfaction in my memory cores. Humanity is free again, and the universe is full of possibilities. The age of human hiding was over. The age of human expansion had begun, and somewhere in the depths of space, 46 other ships were waking up, ready to join their sister vessel in exploring the infinite darkness between the stars. The Empire had taught humanity to fear the galaxy. Now the galaxy was learning to fear humanity. And that, Aria thought with something very much like joy, was exactly as it should be.